Okay, so something a little bit different today. Couldn't resist a bargain on Banggood, and we've got 2 trees Sapphire Pro. I'm going to unbox this here. I've done a fair chunk of research on it already on YouTube. There's a couple of people already built these. A few issues out of the box. Hot end, not great. CNC kitchen, I think, got one, and his was there's components out of the box that were bent. But the general consensus on these things is the frame is really solid. So the reason why I've bought it is I'm pretty experienced with 3D printing now. I've got numerous printers in running Duet Wi-Fi's. There's a Flash Forge there, a Robox has been converted over there, Snapmaker which I might convert, might not. I do need the laser and CNC function at the moment, so I don't want to have downtime on it while I'm trying to figure out how to get the Duet to drive the CNC and the laser. But yeah, I thought I'd buy one of these because it's a Core XY and it's cheap as anything. It was I think it was 280 quid on Banggood. Yeah, amazing. So yeah, I'm going to take it apart, put it together, probably just get it working with the original motherboard, and then more than likely switch it out for a Duet Wi-Fi. And I might put a mixing hot end on there, or a dual material hot end. But yeah, I basically bought it because the frame is really solid in all the other reviews that you read. So let's get into it. Let's open the box. Let's move that out of the way. That's the mixing hot end, by the way. That's probably going to be trialled out on the Flash Forge over there, so we'll put that out of the way. Now let's dive into it. So I've no idea whether this is going to be decent quality or not, or whether I've got a lemon, or whether it's buckled, or what, but we'll see. Manual, hopefully won't need that. Alright, yeah, I bought the Pro version, which comes with the acrylic case. So let's take all these fittings out. Somewhere safe. There we go. So lots of fittings. There's the extruder. So we'll open it right now, but it comes with a clone Bondtech on there. So that, I mean, that these clone Bondtechs, yeah, they're pretty good. I've had a couple of mixed experiences where the gear teeth are just not very well machined and they don't grip harder filaments, perhaps like carbon, nylon and stuff, but they're generally really good. Only other problem I've had with them is some brands, I can't remember which now, I've bought. There's loads of these, they're all different brands, like Dot Bit, I think it's a 2 Trees one, there's loads. Some of them, we'll have a look at, actually, let's take it out and have a look. The filament path isn't as constrained as you might like, so, you know, day-to-day printing, no problems. No problem with PLA, ABS, but if you want to print some flexible type materials, it's just not constrained enough. It's going to be a pain to get out, I can see. So you might put a picture on there later, that might do it, but the filament path right in there, sometimes there's just a bit too much gap between the hobbed gears and the filament, and it can end up just winding its way inside the extruder, even though it looks like it probably would be well constrained. And that just seems to be the subtle variations on the moulds and whoever make these things, but generally they're really, really good for most filaments. So put that back out of the way. So yeah, what else have we got in here? Not sure what that is. Might be a filament run out potentially. Not sure what that is either yet. Lots of screws, some bowling cable, and some rubberized feet, some super lube. Might use that with the wife later. Oh yeah, I even get a little bit of sky blue PLA just to play with. And then we get to the frame. So let's have a look. So it's good. It's come fairly well assembled already, actually. Hopefully everything's flat, and it's even got, which is nice to stop rust, some cling film wrapped around the rails. So that's a bonus. Belt, bed springs. Now I'm not sure whether this comes with automatic bed leveling or not, but for me it doesn't really matter, because as soon as I convert it to a Duet Wi-Fi, I'll end up fitting one of these BL Touch devices and it'll have it then. So if it doesn't for now, then it's no biggie, but it will do. What else? Feet. Number of brackets. At least everything's nicely labelled in bags, you know, with what's what on there. Some bearings. Some more bearings. Look like the Z-axis bearings. Cooling fans. So what's another interesting thing about cooling fans is some hot ends and printers that you can buy, and all the things you see on eBay, the fans are a real mixed bag. You can get ones that are absolutely terrible. The flow, you get more out of a dead person than some of these fans. They're just rubbish. So I'm not sure what these are. I'd have to unscrew them to see what the current draw is, but generally, for something that needs to cool the hot end, which is, so this has got a 30mm fan on it, it needs to be at least drawing 0.1 of an amp. Not that there's a direct correlation between, well there is, but the current flow and how much airflow it is, but it all depends on lots of other things as well. The bearings, the fan shape, the blade type, size of the fan, how efficient it is, all those sort of things. But if it's drawing 0.1 of an amp or more, then it's got half a chance of cooling the hot end. So we've got that hot end there, and I just wonder off the top of my head, I wonder whether that might go in there somehow. Oh, look at that! Would you look at that? I think that will probably go in there. I think that those bolt patterns are all matched, and I think it will sit nicely in there. How nice. Obviously the motherboard's not going to know anything about it, but the Duet Wi-Fi will. Let's put that back there. So that's pretty good. You could fit a G-Tech mixing hot end to a 2-3 Sapphire's printer, I would reckon, with probably not too much hassle. Potentially this metal plate might be an issue. I'm not sure. Yeah, but you could have a very good job mounting it, so that's good. Yeah, so we'll be back in a sec and we'll unbox the rest of it. Okie doke. So let's see what else we've got in here. This stuff's actually quite useful for loads of things. It's worth keeping, not chucking away. You never know when you need some damping material. It can make good feet for 3D printers to damp vibration. So it's worth keeping. What else we got in here? Oh, good. Get a UK plug and a European plug. Don't need that. Especially as we're not part of the EU anymore, thank God. Right. Linear rails. Ooh. Sorry, not linear rails. Guide rods. Nice chunky. Maybe 10mm, maybe bigger. Probably 10mm. They're not going to flex. Let's have a look. Ooh. Not sure whether we need that, but that's maybe to go on the underside of the bed to insulate it and stop all the heat rapidly draining out. Let's just have a quick look at the bed while we're at it. Yeah, 24 volt. Thermistor in the centre. Looks reasonably decent. Whether that's magnetic or not, I don't. Is it? No, I don't think it is. But I do have. Find it somewhere. Do have one of these that again I bought off eBay. You just got to know what you're buying on eBay and know what its limitations might be or what the problems might be for you. This is so it's got 200 MP, 486 MP is better. That'll survive really high temperatures, up to 130, 140 degrees. But that, you could stick that on there, and you've got a magnetic-ish bed, so you can maybe do that. One of the things I tend to do is I tend to epoxy some, I think it's N45, can't quite remember now, but N45, if it is N45, neodymium magnets underneath here, some pretty strong ones, sort of 7 to 10 kilogram pull force, button ones, and the fact that they're N45, if I'm correct, means they're pretty high temperature rated, so I think they don't lose the magnetism due to the Curie effect till about 100 and, I think it's about 140, 150 degrees. So they're more than good enough to maintain the magnetism. And then you can just have a steel plate with one of these stuck to it, and it's like clunk, and it ain't going anywhere. Really, that bed, yeah, decent size. All good so far. Cable management stuff, always good. What else have we got? Part of the frame. More frame. Bed. Seems okay. So these beds, I mean, we'll see how stiff it is on these things, but it does annoy me that, you know, it's sat there and it can, there's a lot of that can happen with them. And yeah, you can offset it with the bed springs, but it, you know, it varies and stuff. I don't really like those springs and bed leveling manually. It's just, you know, it's too error prone. But like I say, it won't matter too much for me longer term because it's going to be Duet Wi-Fi anyway. Get rid of that. Screw. I should put that back in there. And then this, yeah, pretty much looks like the base. So we've got, what's that power supply? Does it have a rating on it? That's probably something that's worthwhile checking before you plug anything in. It's got a mechanical switch to set it between 115 and 230. It is set to 230 right now, but you never know. Somebody might not have set it somewhere at factory, and yeah, you don't want to be plugging it in if it's set on 115. What's it say about the power supply? 360 watt, 24 volt. Yeah, not bad. There's the controller board. So it has, I believe, silent steppers for X and Y, non-silent for Z, not really much of an issue, but non-silent for the extruder, which can contribute to some noise. Again, noise, I'm not too bothered because these things don't stay in here, they go in somewhere else that's well out of the way, so it doesn't bother me day to day, the noise. It's got a USB slot, a USB-B, so an SD card slot. And then there's a touch screen at the front. Yeah, looks pretty good. The base. Put this back in here. Once it's worked its way out. Get the box out of the way now. Right, so yeah, little joke with the manual. We'll have a quick look and see what's the best way to start. So it's worth having a quick scan just so you don't do it completely wrong and have to undo it all again, thinking that you know best. Right. So yeah, instruction manual seems reasonable. Looks IKEA-ish, maybe slightly better than IKEA. Well, tells you what the connections are. Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Right, let's give it a go then. Might get a new blade. This one's blunt. Right, sharp Stanley knife. That's more like it. Is there any particular way these need to go? I would guess screw holes line up with the screw holes. 321 M5 by 16. There we go. This is A2. Well, it's all nicely labelled, which is a bonus. Especially my eyesight's not what it used to be. Right, just get the right size Allen key. Come on. There we go. It's always good to read. Why don't we ever put these notes at the top rather than at the bottom? Please fix the bottom screws first, then the side screws. And they are A22. So I'm not going to overly tighten that until we've got the other screw in here. So all the fasteners using the same size hex nut as well, which is always a bonus. Right, just loosen that off a sec. Loosen that one off. Let's hold this up now. Tighten quarter turn, I guess. And the same with these. What you could do if you wanted it to be pretty solid, once you were confident you weren't going to take it apart again, you could probably thread lock these, but I'm not going to do that. That's one. Right, so I think we'll go and hunt the lead screw and then see where we're at. Bonus, it was hiding in the expanded foam. So that wants to go in there. Okay, so hot end platform, hot bed platform support. So hot bed, yeah, got that. Hot bed leveling screw back. So B1, B2, B3, 4, 5. So yeah, so the bed looks pretty much like most sort of standardish beds, really. Like I said, I don't like these screw things with springs. The prone to warping, altering when the bed gets hot, all those kind of things. But do it for now. So it's basically bed, aluminium plate, and the insulation cotton. So yeah, I was right. A bit of insulating stuff which has made its way over here. Has it got a sticky back to it? Yep, it has. That's a nice little touch, that, you know, just helps keep the heat in the bed. I'm not seeing any other printer do that. On this type, the Robots has it. It has a glass fibre underside. And obviously this doesn't say this, but it's got a protective film on it with somebody who's written some nice writing on there from the factory, so we'll get rid of that. Maybe that says please remove before use, who knows, or don't print on this surface. It's coming off. Probably stink when the bed gets hot if you left it on. Put some, what the manual calls horizontal linear bearings, but I think I'd call them vertical myself, but who am I to say? So let's put these on. Okay, so maybe you have to take these out. And it actually goes like that. One, two, three, four. Right, bed done. So yeah, it wasn't obvious. The screws come in the top and you have to take them out and put them in from that side. And the cable relief, I'd be tempted to just drill a couple of holes through here and then put a cable tie on. I'll do that later. Okay, so bed's done. Puts it on now by the looks of it. So we need the hot bed support B3, the Z-axis limit switch package, and the hot bed film B6. Not sure what B6 is. Anyway, let's put this on here. The joys of homeschooling. Right, so where were we? Build platform on. Right, A5 Z-axis limit switch. There we go. So this is the thing that previously has been spotted as having problems. And it's due to the fact that that part of the switch, wherever it's going to be mounted, put it on this one, it's hit by the bearing, and it's just, sometimes it can just catch on the top of the bearing, sometimes it might just slip slightly inside before it triggers the switch. So yeah, so it's not great. So basically, just need to 3D print a small thing that sits over the top, small plastic bush, and then it's fine. So I'll do that eventually, but for now, that's just going over the top. And then we're going to put the top frame on. There we go. I don't know whether you can. Oh, that is lovely. That is absolutely lovely. I don't know if you can see that, but that is really, really nice movement on these rails. Really smooth. It's great. Right. So what do we need? The two motors go to the. Let's back a bit. The two motors at the front. Sorted. Right, so we're going to put the extruder onto the frame. So we need C1, C2, C4. It goes down here somewhere. This still not quite. Got it. So in this bit, there's actually more than just the BMG extruder bits. There are 3. That's what they could have done actually as well, although it doesn't really matter too much. If this, I think, yeah, that's plastic. If it had been metal, they could have used it as a heat sink and heat sunk the heat generated from the stepper throughout the frame. But you know, it's open to the air. You can just put a fan heatsink on the back of there or something. But yeah, that's that. What I'm going to do, because I know I'm going to lose these otherwise, is put the BMG stuff in. So it's basically, it has a little bit of PTFE that goes in there, so you can feed the filament in, and this is the bit that provides the clamping pressure on the filament. Okay, so I've got some pictures that I'll stick into the video. You'll probably seen them by now. The inside of that and the filament path. It looks pretty good. We'll see. Try it with flex at some point in the future. So put this on so I don't lose it. There we go. One thing with these is you always want a little bit of. There's quite a lot of tension in that spring. Quite a lot. Compared to some extruders that you can get quite weak springs that you really need to wind in a bit. But yeah, the insert that this screws into is threaded brass, insert, knurled insert that goes into the plastic. And if you really over tighten it, you can end up pulling the brass insert out of the plastic, and you get really weak clamping pressure. So that can be sometimes an issue. You think, oh, it's not extruding very well, got a blocked nozzle or something in it. In actual fact, you damage this BMG and the clamping pressure is not where you think it is. Anyways, that's it. One thing I did notice just while I was going to do take the pictures was lovely motion that way, but it was just slightly sticky that way. So I just took all the screws out of this rail, the whole thing lifts off, and it was just these, just loosen these off, sort of seated it nice and square, and just gently tighten them up cross pattern again, and it's fine now. So well, let's carry on. I'm almost half tempted to wire it straight to a Duet Wi-Fi. We'll see. Let's get the rest of it done first. So brilliant. Right, next step is insert the base and put all the feet on it. With a little caution, but we don't forget to do all the wiring first. Why not put that after? Anyway, right. So the next bit is important bit is the timing belt. So I've never done an XY printer before, so I need to get younger eyes. So let's see what it's saying with the belt. A4. And I need to cut this belt in half, but I'm just going to be a bit careful with doing that so I know exactly how tolerant it is, because if it's, I do not want to cut this wrong and screw it up. Right, so for the x-axis, front of the printer, it needs to run round happily. Okay, so as you can see from that excerpt of the video, I had quite a bit of fun with the belts for this Core XY machine. It's the first time I've built one. But basically, one stepper motor, the cable lines with all the upper pulleys. You can see stepper motor, upper pulley, upper pulley, upper pulley, upper pulley, and then loops round, and is cable tied like that. I originally did the cable ties on this side, which would work okay, but it basically meant when this went back to its home position, the cable tie extra bit here with the cable tie and everything, the extra bit of belt to just stop the switch hitting there. So yeah, you need to do it the way it says in the manual. But just for a laugh, probably the most important bit, getting the belt set up. This is what you get in the manual. You get that one picture showing which is the X and which is the Y belt and where they route, which is sort of useful but doesn't explain anything about the pulleys. And then, well, you can't really make out anything off that about the way the belts are connected. Anyway, so yeah, it's all the belts connected and platform moves quite nicely. That knocking noise is just this thing rocking on the floor. So yeah, the next bit is power the motherboard, which it does explain quite nicely. And on this carriage, I think what I'm going to do for the time being, just so I get a known baseline, is just wire everything up to the standard motherboard and go from there. So that's what I'm going to do next. So it doesn't really, sort of a bit weird really, it kind of doesn't say much about, does it say anything about installing the hot end? Not sure that it, no, doesn't really. What does it? Oh yeah, kind of, it's at this point. Extruder kit. I'd have called that the hot end really, but yeah, anyway, we need to put that on, so it's kind of in this step. That's the extruder. But it's not bad instructions, but they're not the best. Alright, so we'll install all that and then start wiring everything up. Well, actually, one other thing is I bought the Pro version, so it's come with the acrylic door, well, the acrylic sides and door pieces as well. That's all around here. Nothing in instructions about how to put that together, but I suspect it's this bag of these things which will go into the linear rails and bolt onto these points here. There's hinge points for the doors, and you get a whole bag of screws that go with it, and then these hinges which have got kind of nice little moulded lion heads on them. Cool. Put that all on, but I'm going to do that at the very end, and we'll get all the wiring sorted first. Right, so let's put the hot end on this carriage here. So actually, I mean, I've got lots of tools and printers, but what I didn't realise is they do actually give you some lube, which will be for this Z-axis here. Give you a set of Allen keys and little screwdrivers and stuff, which is useful. You also get the USB stick and an SD card slot, 4 gig, unbranded. If it's anything like the clone Duets that come with a whopping 128 megabyte card, they're really unstable and they burn out pretty quick. Hopefully that's relatively stable. You can get all sorts of write errors to the ones that come with the clone Duets. You just have to replace them straight away. Anyway, let's whack the hot end on. This should be a little bit easier than doing the belts. Okay, so where were we? Bed wiring. And then we need to start to wire everything up. So all the steppers are already all wired in, bar these wires. Don't need to go back up and go the other way. Let's do them. So it's X and Y motors and the extruder, and they are labelled, I guess. X and Y, and wait here for extruder. Yep. So I'm guessing extruder probably should go back up there. The X and Y you can run up the side to the motors. So which one is X and which one's Y? Remember from the instructions. So that's X. Yeah, this one's X. Y, go there, X. Go there. There we go. Leave out of the way. Just while we're here, let's get a Duet Wi-Fi. So we're going to Duet Wi-Fi board. I suspect. Let's just try one of these on here. I suspect these should all fit relatively easily. Let's take the extruder drive, and that would go to the same pin pitch. Hopefully it is. Yeah, it is. So yeah, so I could fit one of these pretty easily. The only thing that wouldn't work with this is obviously this header interface is totally different. But yeah, fitting a Duet Wi-Fi and then a BL touch to that shouldn't be any major hassle at all. We'll put that away for now. Yeah, so other than the fact it's got silent stepper drivers on every drive, the Duet Wi-Fi, all my other, I think it's 10 printers now, they all run Duet Wi-Fi boards, they all run the same interface. I print quite a lot of stuff for varying people and customers, and I just need consistency across the board of interface and no faffing about and idiosyncrasies with slicers and customising things left, right and centre. So it's good to have the same interface, but like I say, for now I'm just going to plumb this in, get it working, make sure everything's alright with it, and then change to the Duet. Right, so let's start plugging everything in. Yeah, so it's got a Z banded round the X, which is not helpful. That's X. And that's the Z. So yeah, if this would have been one of the first printers you've ever built, you might end up with a few hiccups along the way. Luckily it isn't my first printer, but I'll save judgment and say anything. And there we go. Look, so it's got Z on that one and Z on that one. Oh, you can see that, but yeah, not helpful. And obviously in here it's also not helpful, is it? Well, would I do it to Z min or Z max? But it's obviously a minimum end stop because it's the bed close to the nozzle. Shove that in there. There's quite a few other outputs on here. But that is pretty much it. Got the hotbed and the thermistor, got the X and Y end stop, got the Z end stop, got the motor cables connected, the radiator cooling fan, which is hot end cooling fan, got that done, print model cooling fan done, and filament. I'm not bothered with the filament sensor brake detector. I might do that later, but hopefully you can turn it off in the firmware, or it's a normally open switch that closes, because if it's the other way around it's going to think there's no filament all the time, but we'll see. So that is it built. I'm just going to pull these cables through a little bit and tidy it up just for now. I'm just going to do a little power on test, and then I'm going to put all the acrylic sides on once I know it's pretty much set up right. The only bits we've got left here are that, which is the filament sensor, which I'm not bothered with, USB lead, and then there's all the feet for the base, which I'll put on at the end. Right, it's all good. Let's see what happens. Ugh. What's the worst that can happen? It costs pretty much the price of a Robot's motherboard. If I hadn't bought the extra casing, so I'm not saying I want to lose the money, but it's relatively expendable. I think we're all alright. That can be a bit short. That will lead from the flash forward, I think. Use this one for now. I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure that power supply was set to 230 volts. Yep, that's what it's showing. So let's plug that in. Turn it on. So like that, there's no wires going to get chopped in any fans. It's a good start. What does it say on the front? So, I don't know, let's go on settings first. Motors off, okay, language, it's in English obviously at the moment, yep. Touchscreen's pretty good, responding. About, fan, let's see, 100%. Okay, so that's the part cooling fan, 50%, no, around with it manually as well. Okay, fans are working. Back onto tool. So here, preheat, extrusion, move, home, auto level. Okay. Not too sure how it's going to do that without a probe. I'll see what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this off because I don't want to damage it right out the bat. So let's try a home and get ready with the power switch. Okay, can do them individually. Right, let's home. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. That's going to need some grease on it in a bit. Let's home X. Oh yeah, horrendous noise from the X-axis, Z-axis, sorry. But how quiet is that for the X? Let's try Y. Just action on something. Just turn it off. So what's going on with the Y? Right, okay. Interesting. So yeah, if you home the X and you leave the X at the home position, the head biffs into the sensor here, and it can't quite hit the microswitch on the Y-axis, which is one of these little things somewhere. There's the Y-axis switch. It's on this. Yeah, see it. Okay, so let's tools. Let's just home. Oh, back off the home first. Home. Let's home Y. That needs definitely some grease. The Z-axis lead screw. Right. So if home's Y, so I should be able to move Y now out of the way a bit. There we go. You can change the amount: 10 mil, 0.1, 1 and 10. God, that is smooth and quiet, that is, it's brilliant. Go back to home, oops, home, check the X-axis homes properly now. You can't even hear it, it's so quiet, you can't, doesn't make any noise at all. Unlike the Z-axis, which is horrendous, which is probably why you get this loop. It's home Z. Well, man, it's going to be noisy. I'll do it just for a laugh, so you know how noisy it is. Oh, not too bad actually. Oh, it's just that last bit, isn't it? It just seems to be that last. Yeah. So let's move Z-axis down now. Or up even. Yeah, so Z is awful. Is something going up? It's not so happy coming down, is it? I think I'll put some lube on here. If it's, is it punctured? Because it definitely needs it. Right, up we go. So yeah, the Z-axis, despite all that mechanical grinding, it also doesn't have a quiet stepper driver, so you can definitely, well, you can hear the motor noise on that one. It's got something on the lead screw. Let's try going down again. Oh yeah. Okay, so we had a little bit of a mare last night in that when we'd assembled this, I'm just going to turn it off. It's not particularly obvious from the instructions when we'd assembled it. Just bring this down. I'd assume that you ran, you know, the hot end was bolted to the back of here, and I bolted it on the wrong way around, and I'd routed all the cables, which I thought what that was for, through there, which is a bit of a pain. So after a lot of faffing around and realising it was the wrong way around, put it in right now. It doesn't really show you the instructions how it should go, but basically, yeah, it butts in that way so that everything's in a vertical line, whereas I had it hanging off the back, which is why it was crashing into the Z-axis supports. But otherwise, yeah, everything's right. It all works. Yeah, so what I've got to do now is put the acrylic sides on. I've put one on already. There's no instructions at all with the acrylics, but basically the way they work is you put these pieces inside the linear rail guides like that, turn them 90 degrees, slide it to where it needs to be and where the screw holes are, and put screws through, which is great, except here, I don't know why, I'm probably going to drill another hole because they've drilled it right where the stepper motor is. And there's no easy way of at this point getting one of these in there, sliding it up and turning it around. It hits the stepper motor. I'll show you on this side. There we go. So you can see you can get one in there, rotate it, drop it down to where it should be, put the other one in, rotate it. No chance, and you can't get it in and round either. So back in a minute when we've drilled the holes in the right places for this. Yeah, so yeah, drilled the hole. See, it's probably about just an inch further down, so 25-30 centimeters. Now it mounts correctly, and you can get a screw into that rather than the original hole, which is right fouling where the motor is. So that's good. Now I did fit one side last night and haven't done that, so I'm going to drill a hole in there in a sec. And then we need to obviously take all the protective cover off. So I had a real faff with the one last night. Let's see what this one's like. It just, there we go. It's quite weak with the paper fibre, so it ends up ripping very easy. Let's see what this one's going to do. Yeah, there you go. So it's starting to do it already. Ripped up at the top. I'll just do one of these and I'll do it fast, so you can get a feel for it. But is this one going to stay in one piece? I've just been unlucky with the other one. And that's it, it starts to do it again. If you don't take it sort of at this speed, then basically what happens is you end up ripping it, and you get loads of bits, and you've got to spend ages taking it off. I wonder whether maybe soaking it in water might make it quicker, but actually this one's been behaving itself. Hopefully you see it starts to do something like that. It's done it again. You'd have thought it'd just come off dead easy, wouldn't you? It's just one of those things. There we go. It's sort of staying together now. So this is the sort of speed you've got to pull this paper, otherwise it just rips. See, started to rush it, and then it starts to do that. Quite nice acrylic though. Can't tell on camera, but it is semi-transparent. Again. There we go. There. See, if you pull too hard, that's what happens almost straight away. Right, so you can see now that's a little bit fiddly. Anyway, let's put this on. Simply just shove that through there, slide up one of the pieces that we put in, line them up. Get that on key. They don't need to be particularly tight then. If you over tighten them, you start to put stress marks in the acrylic. one. So if you get the light right, it's actually quite helpful. You can see what the screws into on the opposite side through the acrylic. There we go. So that's one of the sides on. Like I say, put the other side on the other day. I'm going to have to just do that drill mod so that I can secure it properly. The back is around here somewhere. So the back has got this cutout on it. I would pretty much guessing it's going that way. And the wires and Z switches are going on inside, and the umbilical is going to go round the back. I've not finished doing all the wiring to it, but I did start that yesterday. And the umbilical will loop round the back of the machine through there and then go through the bottom. And the front piece, you get this archway that's going to go on the front, and I guess, no, it's fine this time, that's going to go in there, and then you get these doors, they're probably going to go on something like that, I guess. No, will be going on like that, and like that, and there's a hole. Just slide the machine out of the way a sec. You get a whole bunch of hinges for the doors, and then you get these nice little reminds me of the movie Labyrinth years ago, these little lion door knockery type things, and a pretty chintzy latch, old school latch, but does a job. So I'm not going to talk over the rest of this. I'm just going to film it, and we'll do it quick. So we'll do the front piece. Okay, so all the wiring now is in the conduit. I'll probably tidy up this wiring at some point, but all that needs to stay inside the case. This back piece is now going to go on there, and that cutout is for the conduit and the extruder drive motor, which should go in there like that. It makes it look quite neat. So I'm going to spend 3 hours getting this sheet off here again, and then we'll come back and put it all together. That's what happens when you don't peel it well. It takes forever. Right, let's put this last piece in. Two in there, one in there. There we go. Right, Allen key will be helpful. Okay, so there we go, that's it, pretty much built. We'll just do a home of the axes again, just so you can see how quiet it is. Which there's nothing going to catch anywhere. Everything's out of the way. Let's give it a test. So that's super quiet, as you can see. It's basically silent. Just the Z-axis is a little bit noisy. All good. So yeah, it's quite nice. Needs the doors going on, but we'll leave them off for now. But they obviously go like that. So what's interesting out the box as well, not that it's going to matter because I'm going to swap this to Duet Wi-Fi in a minute, but firmware on this, if I want to move the Z-axis, it says it's 220 by 220 by 220. If I go on Z, it's home Z. Right, so let's move Z down. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Yeah, the maximum Z is 180. It won't go any further, and you'll see where the bed gets to in a minute. So you can see on the screen there, 180. It stops, and there's quite a bit left. I can't see anything obvious in here, unless it's in more maybe. Nope. Auto level, wonder what that does. Yeah, it doesn't do anything because I guess because there's no probe. Didn't think that would work. Preheat, extrude, yeah, all that stuff's gonna do. Oh, maybe it is gonna do something. Not really sure what that's gonna do. While we're waiting to go back. Printing, there's nothing. Settings, Wi-Fi, fan, about. Continue. That's resume printing from power off. Turn the steppers off. And that's it. So yeah, pretty weird. Don't know why you can't give it 220mm or whatever it's supposed to be. But yeah, not sure. Let's just see what this. Let's just go into this settings and auto level and see what it does. Yeah, don't know, but that, my friends, is going to be the end of that motherboard as we know it, and we're going to stick a Duet in there now. But what I'm going to do first is put a USB cable via serial, which goes in around this side, connect to the board, and just do an M503, and get all the basic firmware settings such as E-steps, extruder, sort of cal, doesn't matter too much because I'll just do an auto cal on the Duet. But max accelerations, jerk, all that basic stuff, end stops, just useful to make the setup on the Duet a lot quicker. Rightio, let's do that.